Hi Sagittarius, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your April 2023 tarot reading. Thanks to those of you who like, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, so what we have in front of us, the Celtic Cross spread as always. And I also pulled the 4 agreements, wisdom oracle, and Mudra card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off by rolling out this astrology guys we have in front of us to get an idea of where your folks should be as far as that goes. Alright, so we have 3. So, third house for you guys is actually Aquarius, and we're about to have Pluto move into that sign. But yeah, in general, third house points to communication, short journeys, and siblings. We have Gemini, and Gemini is your 7th house of partnerships, relationships. We've had Mars there for a really long time, and it's just about to move into Cancer. But yeah, could definitely be some focus in area of life for you guys this month. And also we have Pluto, and Pluto actually is about to move into Aquarius, which is your 3rd house communication. So yeah, again, we can see why it makes some sense to see this energy coming up for you guys too. But with all that out of the way, we'll get started with the main spread. Okay, in the main situation position, we have the Lovers, which is Gemini energy, which we also saw on the dice, and challenging that, we have the 8 of Swords, also Gemini energy. So I can see this playing out a couple different ways. One way it could be playing out could just be saying that for some of you might actually desire to enter into a romantic connection, but the challenge could be you might have no idea where to start, right? It could just be one of those things where maybe you've just been single for a really long time, and now you have that desire to get back into the dating scene in some way, but at the same time, you're not even sure, you feel so out of practice that you don't know where to begin. Now, for overview, this could just be saying that around any kind of partnership, not just necessarily romantic, but even some kind of business partnerships, things along those lines. You might have a desire to enter into them, but again, maybe a bit of a fear on where to start, and possibly lacking a little bit of faith that if you do take a step forward, that there would be some backing support on your behalf, right? Because if we look at the artwork there, you see that angelic figure behind the 2 of them. So to me, sometimes it makes me think of things being worked out behind the scenes as well. All right, in the foundation position, we have the Page of Pentacles. So yeah, this could just be saying that for some of you might feel like the thing that you're hoping to secure is just out of your reach, right? We see that pentacle, it's not quite in their hand just yet. So it could just be one of those things where you feel like you're close, but you're not quite where you want to be. Now, obviously, given that this is a pentacle, it could point to finances for some of you. And like I said, it could be the same dynamic as far as relationships too, where you have the desire for it, but you might feel like you don't know where to begin. All right, past position, we have the 4 of Cups. So this is actually Cancer energy here. And maybe it's one of those things where you might have been open in the past, but you might have felt like the offers that were coming your way weren't necessarily satisfactory, right? So you might have started to lose faith that the right type of offer would come along. All right, present position, we have the Star card. So this is actually Aquarius energy here. And it could just be saying that for some of you, you might have gone through some tough times recently because the Star card's the card that comes after the Tower in tarot. So it could just be one of those things where maybe you've gone through a bit of a shift. Maybe your perspective has changed on certain things, but at the same time, there could still be a bit of a rawness there, right? Where you might still feel a little bit vulnerable and exposed. So you could just still be adjusting to a new way of seeing things. So yeah, like I said, maybe it's just one of those things where you might have had a heavy focus in one area of life. Now you might feel like it's shifting, but you're not quite sure where to begin. So for example, given that we do see the 3rd house energy that came up in your dice, and seeing that this is the 3rd house energy here, you guys did have Saturn moving through your 3rd house communication for a long time. So that could have been one of those things too, where even where you might have felt something as simple as communicating, right, which is obviously energy that Gemini points to, you might have felt like even when it came to communicating, you were being misunderstood, right? Or you might have had difficulty finding the right words to say in certain situations. So you might be feeling energy lift now, but again, you still feel like you're in that adjustment period. All right, and in your future position, we have the King of Pentacles. So definitely a pretty good solid energy to see here in the near future. Now, on the one hand, this is a Taurus energy, so this could just be pointing to as we get toward the end of April, you might be feeling more secure in this energy. But for me, what's good to see about this is that we see that Page of Pentacles and Foundation. So to see this in the near future position does say to me that at the very least you'll feel a lot more secure in your position in the future, whether you physically see outward manifestation of that or not. All right, in the position of your influence in a situation, we have the Ace of Pentacles. So for some of you, this could just say that maybe an idea might strike you, right? Your fifth house is Aries, and we're obviously going to be in Aries season for the first few weeks of April, and obviously, so that means we'll have the sun there, we'll have a new moon there coming up shortly, and also we have Jupiter there, so a lot of energy going through your fifth house. So for some of you, this could just be saying that you might get a sudden idea that might come to you this month that'll actually help you move forward around the situation. All right, in your environment position, we have the Five of Pentacles. So yeah, this could just be saying that this is how you're currently feeling, right? Or maybe, again, like I said, with that Four of Cups in the past, maybe you might have felt like things were just out of your reach, right? Could just be one of those things where this is just saying that you might have gone through a genuine rough stretch that naturally made you feel that way. But I feel like this is saying that this cycle will be coming to an end for you guys. And again, this could be another indicator that could be as early as we get to the end of April when Taurus season first starts. So definitely be on the lookout for Taurus season as a significant time for that shift to start for you. All right, in the hopes or fears position, we have the Seven of Wands. So this is actually a Leo energy here. So yeah, could just be saying that you might feel like whatever your beliefs are, whatever things you want to go for, you might feel like there would be some resistance in your environment to those things. So that could have been part of what might have held you back a little bit as well. But again, this is not an indicator that it would outwardly play out, but it could just be saying that in your mind you might have felt like that's how it would. All right, and in the outcome position, we have the Ten of Cups. So Pisces energy here. And yeah, to me, this is saying that you will just feel a lot more comfortable as we get toward the end of April. You know, I feel like this is the last bit of hiccups that you're going through. Obviously, like we said, there's a lot of shifts that have been going on. We recently had Saturn move out of your third house communication, but now Pluto is going to be moving into it, right? So a lot of heavy energy in your third house, and we do see the third house there. But I feel like this is saying that overall, that transitory phase, I feel like your overall perspective is still going to change around things, and you're going to see things from a much more optimistic point of view in the near future. All right, and bottom of the deck, we have the Nine of Wands. So yeah, to me, this is another indicator that, like I said, you've probably gone through some battles, right? Obviously, it looks like we see he has what looks like a bandage on his head, and looks like he's been through a bit of a battle, but like this is saying that those energies are passing for you guys, and you're actually going to see improvement. All right, moving on to your Four Agreements card, we have Don't Make Assumptions, and it says Speak openly and honestly. Okay, it says when you speak openly and honestly, you won't have to make assumptions. The day you stop making assumptions, you will communicate cleanly and clearly and achieve impeccability with your word. So yeah, definitely a pretty positive message there. And again, to me, that reading that message almost makes me think of what we were talking about as far as that Saturn transit through your third house, right? You might have felt that energy where you might have felt like you were walking on eggshells when it came to communicating, right? But now, like I said, I feel like with that energy moving on, you'll probably feel more light energy around your communication, and obviously that could help with your connections of all kinds, whether they be romantic connections, friendships, business partnerships, you name it. All right, moving on to your Wisdom Oracle card, we have Regeneration. There's the artwork, and the number is 46. So let's see what this has to say. Okay, central meaning says Rebirth, second chances, new opportunities. The Oracle's message, second chances are available to you now. Whatever opportunities you thought were dead are now, excuse me, are now revived in a more authentic, stronger form. Whatever you may have perceived as a failure or loss is now being replaced by something better and more powerful growing in its place. This rebirth is assured. Step into your new life. Destiny is being fulfilled in wondrous ways. So yeah, definitely a pretty positive message there. And like I said, that star card makes me feel like you guys probably did go through a bit of a rough stretch for a while. And now it looks like the energy is going to be lightening up for you guys. Okay, the relationship message says the world is based on connections and relationships. No matter what losses occurred in the past or even now, death and endings are only illusions. There is life after death, love after loss, and in this moment you are radiating the regenerative life force energy that makes you irresistible to love in all forms. Now is the time when you will see evidence of this new emergence. Can you feel it? Love is rising up to greet you. So yeah, again, definitely a pretty positive message there too. Especially because, like I said, it looks like you might have a desire now to get back into the dating scene, but for whatever reason, you could have some fear around it actually working out, feeling like you wouldn't even know where to begin. And like I said, for some of you, yes, maybe that could point to reconnecting with someone if you just had a falling out, but it could just be new connections as well. Hopefully, it resonated either way. Okay, the prosperity message says, what happens when it appears you failed at something? Do you see the beauty in the lesson? The understanding that arises from difficulties is like a seed that lies dormant for a time. Then, once it germinates in your subconscious, it pushes through into your awareness. It is becoming apparent that there is a new you, a new start. A more powerful version and form of what you began to plant in the garden of your imagination has surfaced. You are ripe for success. New opportunities, much better than those that came before, appear like gifts from the gods. Now is one of those times when out of seeming loss and failure comes remarkable abundance. Do not dwell on the past because you really are experiencing a rebirth. So yeah, definitely another positive message there too. Rebirth makes me think of the star card, and obviously the ace energy looks like a fresh energy as well. So hope it resonated. And lastly, we have a mudra for you guys. This is your mudra here. It's the Svadhisthana Chakra mudra. The keyword for it is adaptability. Alright, let's get that to focus. And we're not going to fit everything in the frame in one shot. So what I'll do is hold it here for a second if you want to pause it to take a screenshot to read what it has to say there. And then we'll move it up to get the rest in the frame. Okay, so under benefits it says increases ability to adapt to change, opens creativity and the ability to spontaneously respond to any situation, increases capacity for intimacy with self, others, and the environment, benefits the reproductive system, increases fertility, tonifies the blood. So that sounds like a mudra thing to be beneficial for you guys. We'll put the name in the description below. As always, we'll wrap up there and I'll see you guys next month. Alright, bye.